I'm going to start with you on this.
Sure.
Should he be playing in the preseason, considering his injury history?
Look, obviously, there's a trade-off here. There's a risk. There's no question about it. The last thing you want is for him to get thrown and put down on that throwing shoulder in a situation where you have someone on the opposing football team trying to make a football team and putting a hit on him that's unnecessary. I understand it. But, look, the only way that you really can get ready to play football is to play football. Again, we're talking about risk involved here. Should he play well into the third quarter like sometimes they will do with starting quarterbacks? No. Do you want to limit his risk and his potential to re-injure that shoulder? Of course. But you have to play the game. I think Andrew wants to play the game. I think there are ways to try and make sure you keep him out of harm's way, whether that be running the football more, a more controlled passing game, more play-action passes, more maximum protection type of plays. You don't have to have him have four wides out there and having five-man protections and having him be opened up to being blitzed and getting the crap knocked out of him. There's ways in which you can protect him, but he does need to be on the football field. I do believe that.
If I'm running a football team, my top 44 guys are never playing a single snap in preseason ever under any circumstances. It is ridiculous. Why? Oh, you have to play football to get ready. Okay, you know what? So you're ready halfway through the first quarter of week one. Do you like? It's not like the team that doesn't play.
Time than that.
Okay, but you're going to play you're going to play amongst yourselves anyway. It's not like he's not going to get any snaps against his own defense.
That's true.
And his defense isn't trying to take him out, even if a guy is trying to make the team. It's a safer environment to do it. If you're going to tell me you're at a slight disadvantage for the first half of week one, and to counterbalance that, I never have an injury basically in the preseason, where it doesn't count. Andrew Luck's going to be put down on his shoulder this season. Believe that. But when that happens, if he's playing for me, that's going to count. He's going to do it in service of trying to win a game. And this preparation, nope, I never play my starters or my second stringers in preseason. I just don't do it.
Before week one of the preseason, it had been 585 days since Andrew Luck had played organized football. It had been 19 months since he had taken a snap with real live action. Max, I understand what you're saying because I'm a Cowboy fan, and I watched Zach Martin go down the other night, and I was terrified.
Saquon Barkley tweaked his hamstring.
But Max, I mean, life cannot be conducted in bubble wrap, and certainly, as you just talked about in our last segment, football is a violent sport, and you cannot sit on the sidelines and get better. You might fit well on Hugh Jackson's staff, by the way. He might like something like that.
No kidding.
But, the truth of the matter is this, man. You can get hurt in training camp. Read it every day. Guys get hurt. Practice field. Guys get torn up. The truth of the matter is, Lewis can speak to this better than I can, but Andrew Luck needs snaps. Sure. He needs to see action. Yeah, he needs to take a hit, but he needs to see guys coming at him. He needs to simply hand the ball off. He needs to throw the ball 35 times a game. He needs to see where his shoulder is. He needs the confidence of all of that.
You think he's going to have 35 throws in a preseason game?
What's that?
Think he's going to have 35 throws in a preseason
No,
game?
but you're going to build up to that. It's better to do that now than in game one.
Do it in practice.
You know, I understand. Look, we are in very, very hypersensitive times when it comes to player safety across all sports, in sports overall, in life overall, and we should. Look, I understand this. But, you know, there really are certain things inherent to the game of football that you just cannot get away from. People need to go out to some training camp practices, okay, and just understand that on every single play, whether it's a controlled 11-on-11, a controlled 9-on-7, even 7-on-7, where there really shouldn't be any collisions at all, you're at risk every play. The game involves risk. It just does. And many of these plays that happen where players get hurt in a preseason game, I'm just telling you, it's just as likely that could have happened in practice under those same situations, under those same circumstances, as it happens in a game. It just so happens when it happens in a game, then all kinds of exactly. We see it. It's on TV, and all kinds of other arguments get brought into it. The league is greedy. The league's just trying to make money. That's why they should knock it down to two preseason games. The league just wants to sit here and continue to siphon off money from the fans. And you know what? Maybe people have an argument in all those kinds of ways. But I'll tell you this, players, to play football, you have to expose yourself to some risk in terms of preparing yourself to play when it actually counts. You just do. And me, myself, when we've had 4 preseason games back in the day, and we used to have 2-a-days that were both conducted in pads, when we used to have live 11-on-11, and not many teams do that anymore. You know, guys like Andy Reid maybe do those kinds of things. Matt Nagy does that up in Chicago. Look, that was the norm, and players accepted it, and I'll tell you what. They accepted it because of the fact that this is something that's inherent to the game of football. And I know we need to evolve, and we need to make sure we're taking care of people. And we don't want guys walking around my age and older really looking at the game of football and saying, look at what it did to me.
You like them walking around.
But this is what the game entails. There's no way.
But why can't you do that in practice? Like in boxing, there was famously Philly gym wars. These fighters used to come out of Philadelphia, the sparring they would get in Philly. Woo, you did not, like, you know, when the ding championship fight starts, that Philly fighter's ready. Short careers. So a lot of times they get beaten because they left it in the gym. Now, I'm not saying playing in a preseason game is necessarily the equivalent of that, but the idea holds. He can get timing, rhythm, reps in practice against his own defense. And I just put myself in the position of a fan. When I'm watching a Giants preseason game, the only thing I'm thinking is, please, no one get. Saquon Barkley's going to carry. Of course, I'm like, oh, great, I want to see it. But really what I'm thinking is, please just don't get hurt in this game. That's it.
That's no, you're scouting people,
there is
too. We just talked about
there is a level of preparation and timing that you get in game action that you just cannot get in practice. There it is. And when we're talking,
look, that in the game, week one?
On the other hand,
but I mean, look, you only play 16. You only play 16 games.
So you're saying, do you really,
Max? You only play. Listen, you only play 16 games, and the fact of the matter is this: when you give away games in September, fans like you will be saying this. Well, you know what? Why isn't our team in the playoffs? Why isn't our team better in the wild card? Why aren't you a division winner? Exactly. And you know what? And then,
do you really believe? I don't know. Maybe I'll take your word for it. Your experience, obviously. Maybe the fact is that it would tilt it a little bit in the odds toward the team that did start their first and second stringers in preseason games. Maybe that'd have to be counterbalanced by the fact that some of those guys might be hurt, whatever. But I don't know so drastically that you think the team that didn't start their starters in preseason games would necessarily lose week one. I don't know about that. You think so?
Well, I'd say this. Look, for every Aaron Donald that can skip all of training camp, for every Joey Bosa that can skip all of training camp and then come out and be Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year, there's a whole bunch of guys who, like, if they don't practice the game of football, they're going to look sorry, and we're going to be sitting there ripping them on Twitter going, get this guy out of here.
Who's going to be better week 14? Forget about week one.